we're going to sign. That's our goal. And they took care of business in an afternoon. They got it done. Victor Martinez gets his big money, and he's going to stay in Detroit. Changes things not only from the aspect of where does Victor Martinez go, but that's one less hole now that Detroit has to fill this offseason.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of people that wanted this Victor Martinez homecoming. And, I mean, in a vacuum, sure, I'd like to have Victor Martinez too. I mean, he's going to finish second in the MVP. He just had his best year of his career, hit 35 home runs. I'll take some of that too. But we've talked about this a little bit, and you can look at it, and the reality of it is I don't think contenders for Victor Martinez, much less contenders, because as long as Carlos Santana and Nick Swisher are both on the roster, they're not signing someone that's going to also play that first base DH position when they have long-term money committed to both of those guys. And both are coming off of subpar seasons. I mean, I think you could trade Santana if you wanted to, but Santana wouldn't probably net you the value that he has in the past. And, I mean, truth be told, I'm not sure you want to trade to open up a spot for a guy who's already 35 and Victor. And I would say, looking at the contract that Victor got from Detroit, I would like to hire Victor Martinez's agent to represent me for anything, because I would love, I too am 35, Jerry, so I feel that his representation, would be able to market me the same way they have marketed Victor. And I don't think my knees are as bad as Victor's, but a 4-year deal for a baseball player at 35 years old, I don't care how good of a year you've had, with the knee problems that Victor has had. Wow. I mean, you want to talk about a contract that is destined to be an anchor in a couple years. I mean, I know we are living the Nick Swisher albatross, but I can envision a day where that Nick Swisher contract's not so bad compared to that.
Absolutely.
4 years, $8 million. That is a lot of money for a guy who can't run when he signs it. And I saw a tweet, and I forget who it was from yesterday, but in re-signing Victor, as crazy as it sounds, I'm gonna sound like the Indians front office here, but as crazy as it sounds, I almost feel like that it's opening the window for the Indians wider, because the Tigers just got even older and even more expensive as we head to the future. This tweet I saw yesterday after that deal was done was that in 2018, the Tigers will have $72 million committed to a 35-year-old Justin Verlander, a 35-year-old Miguel Cabrera, and a 39-year-old Victor Martinez. That is a lot of money in a lot of old and already declining ball player. And, unless the Tigers are, planning on taking themselves to a $200 million payroll or more, I mean, at a certain point, they're going to have to tighten up the purse strings a little bit, and there's going to be some serious rebuilding there. I mean, that window in the Tigers is closing, and where I say, the window for the Indians just got a little wider is because the Tigers are going to fall off in the next couple years, and the Indians do have a young core that is really, with the signing of Terry Francona and some of the extensions they had in the past 12 months, I mean, I think you have a core in place where the Indians are at least somewhat, competitive with the team that they have right now. Past 2018, you may be looking more along the lines of 2020.
Yeah, and you know what? That's honestly the backside of it, because I was as big on Victor as anything else. But yeah, man, I hear you about that, and that could definitely be something. And again with the window too, because you're right. I mean, looking at the now and looking at the later, you can look at that through two different glasses here. And now, of course, with the meetings upon us, Indians looking to see what they do. I know a lot of Tribe fans groaned when they heard some comments this week that we're looking for complementary pieces. We're not looking for any cornerstone players. I mean, most people kind of assumed that, but you always hold out hope until the team comes out and says, stop right there. This is what we're looking for. And they did kind of make some statements to that this week. Real quick, because I know I've only got a few minutes with you, I saw in the chat room an interesting comment. Of course, Corey Kluber wins the Cy Young this year without going to the All-Star game. And Bruce in the chat room had asked how common that was. When's the last time? Actually, the guy that he beat was the last one in that situation. Felix Hernandez in 2010 won the Cy Young without making the All-Star. It's only been 16 pitchers, this makes 17 pitchers in baseball history who have won the Cy Young in the same season that they didn't make the All-Star game. So it's actually happened more times than you would have thought, actually. Before Felix, it didn't happen for almost a decade. It was 2004. Johan Santana was the last one before that to make it, and then you've got to go back almost 10 years before that to find the next guy, which was Pat Henkin from the Blue Jays back in 96. So it's happened actually a little. Does that surprise you, that number? Maybe you've heard that stat. I'm shocked that Kluber now makes 17, but I guess, over 60, 70 plus, however long it's been there, 50 plus years, that that kind of makes sense. But I thought it'd be a little less than that.
Yeah, I think that just demonstrates, one, how important the second half of the season is, and two, in some ways, how all-star selections are kind of flawed in having to take everyone, or take a player from each team. How maybe some worthy candidates for a true all-star team kind of get passed over. I mean,
Mike,
Kluber didn't make it this year, and he was a bubble guy. But had you maybe picked the best 25 or 30 players and not had to take Tampa Bay Ray or a Texas Ranger or something like that, he probably does make the roster. So
you know what?
I'll give you a conspiracy theory. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, in those same lines, before anybody cries for Corey Kluber, do you know, not only has that happened 16 other times, but this one I did not know. Twice. Two different pitchers had it happen to them twice. Brett Saberhagen, 2 Cy Young seasons, 85 and 89, doesn't make the All-Star team in either one of those seasons. And Jim Palmer missed the All-Star team in 2 of his Cy Young seasons in 73 and 76. So for 2 guys, it actually happened twice in their career that they were the Cy Young pitcher and didn't make the All-Star team.
Wow. I think that says, too, that
crazy.
Some All-Star selections are some based on last year, too. Because Saberhagen was a guy who was historically known for one great year and one mediocre year and kind of back and forth.
And it shows you exactly. Shows you how hard it is to fight that bias even more there, though. But anyways, where were you going? You had something? You were going there right before?
Yeah, I was going to say, before I go, you were talking about, the Indians kind of coming out and guarding people against expecting a big move. I'll play conspiracy theory, and I don't even believe this myself, really, but let's just play what if. But
okay.
When I saw that Terry Francona was extended, and then there were options on top of it, and so really the door is open for him to be the manager of this team now till 2020. And at first I was kind of taken back, and why extend now? I mean, so much can happen in a year or two, and his contract's not even near up, and it's kind of common courtesy for a manager to have their contract picked up a year before it expires, but this is even before that. So what is the reason? And so my thought is the Indians would never come out and say, hey, we're looking to be big players. It just wouldn't be to their advantage to announce that to the world. But obviously, if they were to bring in another free agent, that free agent would certainly want to be assured that Terry Francona was going to be here. And now it would be very easy for them to say, well, look, we have a contract in place where Terry Francona, if he wants to be, can be a part of this organization all the way to 2020. So why don't you jump on board for a 4 that Terry Francona will be your manager, that contract? Just a thought.
I thought something just like that with the timing of it too. Like nobody was really saying, "Hey, is it time to extend?" With the timing of it, I think we were talking last week. I said, "Well, maybe that's a way of saying, hey, stability. It's going to be here for a while too." And you know, not just in the free agent market, as you've talked about, and we'll probably do this more next week, but the trade market as well. With the meetings coming up, that's where you highly expect if the Indians are going to make any type of serious needle-moving type move, it'll be in the trade market and not free agency. So, you know, perhaps that, you know, still it's the same consideration, because if you're going to trade for a guy that has to drop a no trade or has to come here for a stretch of seasons, then perhaps that makes that easier accomplished. I don't know. But I'd like to talk to you next week about some of those possibilities and trade scenarios, because I'm with you. And they do it better anyway. I'd almost rather they get guys that way, because they find them somehow from other teams, and then they develop them into Cy Young pitchers. 3 of them in 8 years. They only found one of them themselves. They turned the other 2 around with the acquisition. So, you know, maybe they can pull something off in the trade market once again. I'm with you. I think that is, if you're looking for a move, made such and such move, that's how it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I'm all for talking about those next week, because I've got some conspiracy theories in that department too. I think if Indians make a shocking move, a big move, it's definitely going to be via trade. And the closer we get to a real trade season in December, I think there's a real possibility. So we'll see.
It's X-Files time next week. We're going to do it. Let's get some of your conspiracy theories, Mike. And, of course, you guys continuing your series of 1920s-focused articles on didthethribewinlasthnight.com, right?
That's right. You can check that out every Tuesday and Friday, so we'll have another piece tomorrow, and you can always follow along with all our stories on Twitter at DidTribeWin.
At Did Tribe Win, and of course, didthethribewinlasthnight.com. You guys can bookmark it, as I tell you all the time. Make sure you do if you're a Tribe fan. You want to. Mike, have a great week, and you and I will sit down next week, and we'll start getting into some conspiracy theories and trade scenarios and all that fun stuff.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
You got it, my man, Mike Brandenberry. As I said, bookmark it, didthethribewinlasthnight.com. We're going to take a break. When we come back, BJ Rudell, Fantasy Football for Winners Time. Doug Plagens, voice of the Lake Erie Monsters, following it up just about 30 minutes from now. Don't go anywhere. Sports Fix, rolling on. Hey, tell somebody else to tune in during the break. I say that a lot, but you guys don't understand. It's one thing for me to tell somebody to listen to the show. It's so much more effective when you tell somebody to listen to the show. So click share, tell somebody else to tune in, because BJ Rudell, especially if they're a fantasy football player, BJ Rudell, Fantasy Football for Winners, get the edge coming up next here on The Fix.
Public service announcement from the Sports Fix. We here at the Sports Fix and our affiliates would like to apologize for any disturbing verbal actions, but remember, it's better having them trapped in a box than loose on the streets. Public service announcement from the Sports Fix. The Sports Fix, the sports show that cares.
Guys, want to take just a second as we head into this break and remind you about the official business printing source of the Sports Fix, our friends at Signs and Ship. Signs and Ship, I'm telling you, Chris and Pam, they've taken care of me since day one, and they can do the same for you. Whether you're a small business that's already been established and you're looking to grow to that next level and expand your business, or perhaps you've got an idea that you just know is going to be a great business and you need to figure out how to brand it and how to promote it and put it out there, Signs and Ship is the place for you. If you need a logo, they can create one for you. They have a fantastic graphic designer. Business cards, signs, banners, yard signs, mobile advertising, anything you can think of that you need to promote your business, they've got it at Signs and Ship. The best thing about them, too, is each of their locations, whether it's the home base here in Elyria, Ohio that I work with, or their spots in Virginia, Florida, and Pennsylvania, it's all local sourced. Very important to me, because we all understand that small business is the lifeblood of the community. So check them out, signsandship.com, or call Chris and Pam today, 440-323-6060, the home office in Elyria, Ohio. Signs and Ship, quality printing at affordable prices.
Hey, Cleveland, this is Tristan Thompson of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you're listening to Sports Picks.
You love Cleveland, and you already know how much we love Cleveland. You know who else loves Cleveland? GV Art and Design. Everyday fans, you and I wear our pride on our sleeves. Now, you can wear your pride on your chest. GV Art and Design has one of the hottest Cleveland sporting lines. Log on right now to gvartwork.com. Check out all of their fantastic designs. And don't forget, use the sales code FIX10, FIX10, to save 10% on your total purchase. Follow gvartwork.com on Facebook, and remember, GV Art and Design, it's not just a shirt, it's a statement.